Hello and welcome to another one of my cult movie reviews. For this video we'll be digging deep into the toxic sludge as we proudly present our review of the 1984 toxic zombie film, Mutant. The film stars B-movie actors Wings Hauser and Lee Montgomery as brothers Josh and Mike, who get into a spot of bother with some local rednecks, which leaves their car looking somewhat worse for wear. Stumbling into a nearby town to look for help, they soon find that there's something sinister afoot. It starts when they discover a dead body, only to find that it's disappeared when they return with the sheriff. Checking into a guest house for the night, Josh is surprised to find Mike missing the next morning and that the town is strangely empty. The local doctor's office are also baffled by the amount of people that have been falling ill lately and just how quiet it is. But when more dead bodies start turning up, the sheriff is forced to admit that something weird is definitely going on. Unfortunately, they discover too late that these bodies aren't quite dead and that the rest of the town isn't very much alive either. It seems that someone's been dumping toxic sludge down the drains, which has contaminated the town's water supply and has had an adverse effect on the town's population, which they soon find out as the sun goes down and Josh, the sheriff and a few other survivors find themselves fighting for their lives against a town full of toxic zombies. Directed by John Bud Cardos and producer Igo Cantor, who previously collaborated on the similarly fun Kingdom of the Spiders, the film is well made, action-packed and makes good use of its small town setting. B-movie actor Bo Hopkins is aptly cast as the town's drunken sheriff, and the film features some cool toxic zombie effects. Though it's not particularly gory though, being more suggestive than anything else, but it does feature some fun fight scenes towards the end. The film proved quite popular upon its home video release in the mid-80s, and has since found its way onto DVD, though sadly these have all been bare bones releases. My DVD did contain a trailer on it that I was pleased to discover, but sadly this is another one of those films that's still crying out for a special edition release. The film often gets mixed up with the Roger Corman sci-fi film Forbidden World, which was also released on video in the US as Mutant, and to make matters even more complicated, the distributors occasionally get the artwork for the two films confused, so if you're ordering a US budget disc release of this, just be sure to double check and make sure which version you're getting first. Now, there was actually an unofficial sequel to this released in 1985 entitled Mutant 2, though this was completely unrelated and, to be honest, wasn't very good, being basically an alien rip-off set on Earth. Now, I won't go into too much detail about this one as I hope to cover it in another video, but suffice to say, I wouldn't recommend it. There was also an unofficial remake of this entitled Nightmare at Noon, which came out a mere 4 years after this one in 1988, and also starred Bo Hopkins and Wings Hauser, though in much different roles. Now, I haven't seen this film to comment on as to whether it's any good or not, but as it was by director Nico Mastorakis, who gave us the infamous Island of Death, then I would be inclined to give that one a miss. To sum up, if you like zombie films, then Mutant is definitely a must. It's bloody good fun and still holds up pretty well after all these years. It's arguably a lot more entertaining than some of the mainstream Hollywood dross that you get these days. So if you haven't seen it, then it comes highly recommended and my advice would be to seek this one out.